Sup, nerds?
We need to talk.
You've been wearing that 10-gallon hat for years.
We Need to Talk is a game where you're going to be having interventions with your friends and trying to get them to guess what their annoying behavior is that they just keep portraying to the rest of you. So when it's your turn to be the intervene, you'll draw a card and you can hold it above your head or let everybody see it. You know, however you feel like playing this game. You just can't look at it yourself. And the other players are going to give you clues throughout some rounds to help you guess what your problem is.
And there's 3 rounds, and I don't want to call them suggestions. It is pretty much what you're supposed to do, but it's relatively open-ended. Like, okay, so round 1, you should say, we have to talk about the thing.
It's like 2 words.
Yeah, you only say a few words. And again, that's what a few. Is it really 2? Could it be 1? Could it be 3? Sure. Yeah. So it's pretty loosey-goosey with the rules as long as you're capturing the spirit of it. And in theory, you don't really have to say, we have to talk about, but you should phrase it in that way. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? But again, if I picked up a card and just hold it up and, I don't know what this is, and you say, we have to talk about your issue. And then you're like, okay, what is that? And then you say...
Well, then the rest of us would probably be like, hey, you're not even helping him, Like, you have to actually get a little closer, say something that actually relates to the thing. Like, if it says, ceaselessly continues to party like it's 1999, be like, we have to talk about... You can't say the word, any of the words that are on here.
Yeah.
So you can say something, we need to talk about the dancing.
Mm-hmm.
We need to talk about the beer cans. Like what? Like why? Like you're like party. But, eventually they'll come up with that thing thinking about party and
because if you're too vague like I just was before, that doesn't help. Mm-hmm. You want the person to guess what they're saying.
Yes.
But you just don't want to be the one who gives them that clue. So you can give crappy clues just to kind of stay out of the limelight, but your clue still needs to help.
Yeah.
Yeah,
because if the rest of us think that you're not helping, we can make you give another clue. Like, if you're just like, we need to talk about your issue. You're like, no, say something else. Because, so, whenever, I'm being intervened, you give me a clue, if I take a guess, I have victory points in front of me. They're just worth 1 victory point apiece. But when I take a guess, I give you 2 victory points. So you really want me to guess my thing so that we actually score these points at the end of all the rounds. Mm-hmm. If I don't guess... Nobody gets any points.
But if it's specifically your clue that makes them guess, then you lose all of your points. So mine is... I don't want to do that one. Constantly provides useless trivia to any topic of conversation. And if I was, so if my clue was like, there's so many useless facts that you keep bringing up all the time, and then you're like, oh, so I'm constantly bringing up trivia when I shouldn't be, and then I'm like, oh yeah, you're right.
Yeah, that's close enough to guessing it. Like
it's
really improbable that somebody will guess exactly the wording that's on there. Like, it's just nobody says things in this. I don't know. Like, I don't talk like that.
Oddly refuses to use people's real names. Like, the fact that if I don't say the word oddly, that's not, as long as I mostly get it. And we all, again, you kind of have to just be chill with the rules. Real loosey-goosey.
It's a party game.
Because the person who gave the clue that got close enough could be like, no, that's not exactly right. And you're going to be like, just calm down, have a beer, and have some fun.
Yeah, you're having an intervention. For Pete's sake, It was funny, when we were playing it, Tom had one that said, you can't accept a compliment without getting, mad. I don't know exactly the wording was. We'll find it. Towards the end, he was like, what is it? Like, we're giving him compliments, like, you're really good at this. He's like, what is it? You're turning into the thing.
Yeah, you're doing it now. I love how you're doing it. You're doing a great job, but you're doing it now. This game is really fun. It's very light, and you have to be really loosey-goosey with it. Mm-hmm. But the specificity of the cards is both the problem and the fun part about it. Because it's really hard to think of these things. Like, when they're trying to give you clues, they're like, come on, you're so close. I'm like, I know I'm so close. But this isn't I'm not just trying to guess a movie. I'm trying to guess this very specific thing. And even though if I can get close to it and you still think that's fine, but how, like, what is it? One was let out a horror movie scream every time someone says your name. So we just focused on name, and we were like, oh, you know, Starbucks. When people call out things at Starbucks, that is a problem for you. You know, what else? Oh, you were saying like what your teacher says if you have a substitute teacher.
Yeah, it's just saying like because the last round is you offer a solution. I was like, you should try, you know, going to like sit in on a class where they, you know. I didn't want to say the word name.
But where they have to call roll or something,
yeah,
you know?
Or like sit at a graduation and listen to, you know, the entire graduation. I was just like, you know, like it's hard. Like I'm not super creative, so like trying to be open-endedly creative to come up with a solution for a problem that I've never thought of
without being too on the nose is really difficult.
And not saying the words that are on the card.
That too. Yeah. Like, so it's a fun game. It's you know. It's a party game, so you're being loosey with it, but it's also really challenging. You know, like the more drunk you get, the more impossible this game is going to be.
Yeah, you're definitely going to have a lot of laughs playing this game if you're into party games and you're into like, you know, messing with people and be like, you know, some of these things are just outrageous. Mm-hmm. So if you're trying to get somebody to guess this thing, like, you know, partying like it's 1999, like you can have a lot of fun with it. Be like, you know, we need to talk about your, you know, how much you love Prince. You're like, what?
Yeah. I know you love the color time period when Jurassic Park came out, but that was the 90s, right? Yeah. Do I have complaints? Sure, a little bit. One thing that one guy brought up, which doesn't really bother me, but it could very well bother somebody, is that being that person, especially because it's so challenging and stuff, it can feel like a lot of pressure. Mm-hmm. You know, if you don't like being in the spotlight, this is not going to be your type of thing, because, well, we know that, we know subconsciously that, or no, not subconsciously, we know on the surface that you're not really saying these things about me, that I'm doing these bad things.
Yeah, we're not really having an intervention for you.
Right, but it still kind of feels like everyone's attacking you, like, just a little bit, like, subconsciously, you know, you're having this, like caveman response of, like, yeah.
Yeah, it definitely was like, oh, stop saying these. I'm trying to fix myself. Help. Like, this will definitely give you, I guess, the closest to being in an actual intervention. I've never had an intervention that I know of. Yeah. So this is a lot of fun, though. There's definitely, you know, problems with, you know, some people aren't going to get it. Some people won't be outgoing enough to play this game with you. Overall, the way it's packaged, there's tons of cards in there. There's so many different scenarios that are going to come up. It's always going to be a blast.
There's even a little divider thing so that you can know what cards you have used and haven't used, because after a while, you'll start to know the thing. Yeah. And I mean, that is probably the single best part about this game, is there's so many cards. Mm-hmm. All the fun and the funny and everything comes from the cards, and the fact that there's like 300 or something?
Yeah,
it's insane. So there's an awful lot of value in this box.
So if you're looking for your next party game to get on your shelf, look no further. We need to talk. We're
going to put a purchase link to this game in the description box down below. You can go ahead and get yourself a copy. And hey, while you're down there, don't forget to subscribe to our channel so you'll never
be bored.